Hey guys,
Hello.
how is everyone?
Hello. Good.
Muy bien.
I don't know what that means, but I imagine it's good.
Means very good.
Welcome, Letha. Letha is our new agent joining in from the corner of her living room. I love it. For the rest of you, turn your cameras on. I'm tired of seeing black screens. I know, I'm going to make you pay attention for 30, 60, 45 minutes, whatever it is. How's everyone's weekend?
Pretty good.
I could barely hear you, Letha.
Pretty good.
Good deal. Miss Cherry's driving, that's why she didn't want me to know she was being unsafe. Adriana, how you feeling?
Much better.
Good, good, good.
Thank you for asking.
Where the hell is everyone? Y'all disappearing on me.
I'm here, Dan.
I sees you. I sees you.
Somehow, I always get your meetings on my calendar, and this one was not. So maybe that's the reason.
I stopped putting it on the calendars because we're running by the KWSA calendar, and I want you guys to use it instead of a secondary. And I want you guys, that's what we're going to talk about today in this class is lead generation, but it's also sticking to a plan. You guys can go to 1kwsa.com and put the things that you want on your calendar. I know it's all about making things easy for you, but sometimes you got to take a little bit of accountability. So, how's everyone's weekend? Let's talk about some wins. What do you got?
Well, I don't know if this was a win, but it was interesting. I showed a property on South 11th Avenue in Tucson, and it was a little 3-bedroom house that had been flipped, and the house itself was nice enough, but the neighbors were like seriously distressed properties, like a big old 2-story falling down, and definitely, and all the pictures were misleading because of course they didn't show the neighboring properties. So it was a no.
Location, location, location. Oh my God, it's Tess Price. I haven't seen your face in a while. Awesome. Well, I want to answer some questions. I know there's some questions out there. We're going to try to get those pinned out, and then I want to jump into the materials, and that's finding leads, different aspects. So, Annette, you had something for a listing, right?
Yeah, but I'm not ready with my questions now. Sorry.
Annette's probably on her way to see me. She wants to do it one-on-one. Group is so much better. Anyway, any other questions we can help answer before we jump into what I want to talk about?
For on Robin's situation, is it okay to tell them to drive by and look at the neighborhood before you go and show them, or not really?
It's absolutely advisable. Always tell your clients, if you're interested in moving to a certain neighborhood, it's always advised you take a trip through that neighborhood before we, spend the time trying to find it, going through it, looking through it. These are all things you can definitely tell your clients to do so.
I had another buyer that we worked with who did do just that, and they'd go look outside first, every single one, and before they decided if they actually wanted to see it or not.
Yeah, that's part of the due diligence that you want to talk to your buyers about up front is, hey, this is the situation. If you're looking for a house, you're going to want to know what the neighborhood looks like multiple times a day. So before you ever step foot in an area, if you think it's somewhere you might want to live, drive through a couple of times in the morning, the afternoon, and at night around when people get off work. So you know the commute times, you know the patterns, you know the neighborhood, especially if you're thinking about a certain house, drive by it. You might see that the house next door is a bomb shelter or a crack house. You never know. It is Tucson. Amber.
I have a question. I'm not sure how to go about this, but I wrote my 3rd contract and the buyers tell me they don't want it after I've done all the work. So I don't know. I know they're willing and I know they're able. I'm just not so sure they're ready. Being first time home buyers, I don't know. I don't know what other conversation I can have with them. But I wrote a contract last night because they're like all in, they saw the property. And then this morning when I'm like, okay, we just need to meet to sign, they're like, no, we changed our mind.
What changed? I mean, that would be my concern is what changed?
They said they're going to call me later.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I would go back to the consultation. Do we have one?
Yeah, we had a consultation.
Is there anything that would have been a red flag during the consultation?
No, they're just really wishy-washy right now as far as what they want. And I've had multiple conversations. I don't even know, too many to count, of what they're actually looking for. And the home we just put in an offer, well, that I wrote up a contract with, had a pool, and they were very against a pool. So like, I'm not sure where we're going.
Okay.
Or,
Go ahead, Mike.
well, for me, I've I've run into this a little bit. Not so much about wanting to back out, but I mean, literally having a consultation and definitely no HOA, none of this, and then the very first listing they sent me that they were interested in was an HOA in the part of town they didn't want, and it really came down to, you know, they just wanted a home, and they were almost willing to settle for something, and I had to kind of just bring them back to the motivation of what they're looking for and keep them in check to, you know, bring them back to their motivation rather than just purchasing a home that they'll probably be upset about in a month or two. You know, just having that conversation and typically getting them to answer. You're not telling them what you know, you're getting them to answer and coming to the realization of what's going on with it.
Yeah, I talk to them a lot. I've been with them for about 6 months now. So through credit repair, and we, being first time home owners, you really don't know what you like, right? Until you actually go and kind of look at a couple. They do know specifically what neighborhood they're looking at. Yeah. So that's not. However, I think for their motivation, I know what their motivation is they have to move out of their rental. However, I think there's a disconnect between the wife and the husband as far as having two different opinions on a house. So that's I keep going back to them and I'm like, guys, you two have to be on the same page, because I get that one person's going to love it and one's going to be like, it's okay, because they have two different tastes. And when I think they saw a house that had both their taste, had a pool, they were like, yeah, that's the one. And they're like, we don't care, we'll have the pool, it's fine, and then I wake up this morning and asked them a question about the offer, and they're like, we changed our mind.
Gotta love it. So there's something we're not talking about between the two clients, the husband and wife, and just finding out where the variance is, and let's find out who's putting the kibosh on it. That's really where it says, sit down. Maybe we need to do a reconsultation.
And my, just an assumption, if they didn't really have their heart set on a pool, a high likelihood of them thinking about the cost of electricity and pool bills and maintenance and everything as well could have been the cause for them to just suddenly be like, nope, that's not what we want to do. We don't want to, we said we didn't care, but I mean, that's a big factor you got to take in consideration.
Well, good points. Did that help a little bit? I would say no. I'm going to give you the magic pill. Sit them back down. Sit them back down and say, listen, guys, this is the third contract we've written that you backed out of. I clearly am missing something. Take ownership, something that I am not being communicated, or something that we may not be on the same page about. I want to sit back down and go over some things, find out what is truly important so that we can find the perfect home for you. And you may come find out that they're not that motivated to buy something. So no matter what you present to them, one's going to say yes, one's going to say, let's put an offer in. And the next day they're like, oh shit, what did I do? The only time that you can overseat buyer's remorse is with bliss and joy. When somebody is so excited, they don't care how much money they're spending. It does not matter what anybody says to them. And we've all had those times in our life where we bought something and someone says, ooh, you could have got it cheaper online, or ooh, I don't know if I'd have bought that, or ooh, shut up, Dave. I don't care. I love it. It's mine. I'm happy.
I have a
Buyer's
question.
remorse comes from people. Go ahead, Tess.
You mentioned, Amber, that you think there might be a disconnect between the two of them. Why don't you, as part of your next meeting, print out 2 copies of the desired things that they're looking for and have them sit down separately and do them, and then compare them and go, we've got a gap here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good option. Honestly, I think they're fearful of buying a house. Honestly, I think the idea is there and they're able and they're willing and they're ready. Well, when I say ready, I don't think they're ready, meaning
Emotionally.
well, the fear of, oh, we can't just pick up our stuff and move, and find another house to rent. And they are a little older and they've never owned a home. So, and when I say older, retirement older. So when you have not, I don't know. I feel like they're ready and they want to so bad. I think it's just that getting them over that threshold of just taking a leap of faith and doing it. But I can't determine that for them. They have to decide that, because it's not going to be on me whether or not I get them in a situation they can't get themselves out of.
No, and that's not our job. Our job is to help guide and represent. And that's to say, like, you're going to talk to them later today anyways, have a conversation, but I really think you should need to turn that into another consultation. You can sit down and ask them, guys, what is it that is in the way of you moving forward on the purchase of a home? What is it that's holding you back? Not, hey, is there anything holding you back? No, because we're not going to give them the out. We're not going to ask somebody, how you doing? Great. No. That's why I tell you, what wins did you have on the weekend? What are you working on? What questions can I answer? Because I know they're out there. I'm not going to say, you guys got any questions? Because you're going to be like, no. Because let's face it, this is work. You guys are all on the clock right now. You're dealing with the principal, if you will. You don't want to. No, it's not about that. When we're working with our clients, we need to ask questions that derive emotional responses. Amber, you feel like there's a fear there, so why not turn that question? Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, what scares you about buying a home? Let's call the fear out. This is actually a training for anxiety and depression, is when you can name the fear, when you can name the thing that's creating the pain, it's very easy to control it. So when you call it out and say, what scares you about buying a house? Oh, we're not scared. Okay, well then what's holding you back? More importantly, who? We go back to the question triangle, remember? Why? Very victimizing question. Why? Very victimizing, aggressive, actually takes away from emotion. How? It's kind of we don't know what to do, so we're just asking a question. What is future pacing? Gets us in the ideas of what's going to happen. And then who is ownership. It exudes the most energy. So you ask them, okay, who's holding you back? Because if you got a what, no, we're not scared. Okay, what is it? Well, there is nothing. Then great, who's holding us back? Maybe there's a third party we don't know about. Maybe it's mom or dad that are, still around giving them investment advice from the 1950s. Put your stock in Coca-Cola. Sorry. Some of you guys got the joke. I'm sorry that I just aged you.
Good company.
Yeah. But anyways, great questions to start us off. I do want to talk to you about the potential I want to run a 36-12-3 lead generation class. In doing so, that's going to be a 12-part class if we do it on our weekly call here, or do you want to extend the calls and do 90-minute calls, and we could run it probably 8 weeks? I think we can do it in 12. 36-12-3. It's about the mindset around lead generation. We're going to start that next week, the main part of it. But I want you guys to get in the mindset of thinking about where do we find leads from. So we're gonna put that out there, and then we're gonna examine all these things at a deeper level come next week. So now we're gonna start at the top. I'm gonna ask each and every one of you, if you are not paying attention, I will still call on you. Where's one place you're finding leads? Letha, we're gonna start with you. You're at my top left.
Facebook.
Facebook. I love it. I'm writing it down. Facebook. Jason.
Talking to people.
Okay, so talking to people. Robin.
My sphere of influence.
SOI. Amber.
Open houses.
Okay. Tess.
People I meet throughout the day.
Meets. Mikey.
Door knocking.
Okay. Cindy. Still muted. You don't know?
Sorry, my cursor disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know where it went.
I'm like, where'd it go? Jeez,
Okay.
dang computer. Are we supposed to give something new or something that?
Something you do, something you personally do for lead generation.
Mainly when I do open houses, but I do my when I call people. So
What do you mean by call people?
just when
You're
you're
calling in for the open house, or you just call
just
people?
lead gen calls.
Gotcha. All right, Charity.
Sphere of influence mainly.
Okay. Mr. Keep. We lost Joey. He was
Pretty
there.
much people know, like sphere of influence, and I have done a little bit of calling, but yeah.
Okay, sphere of influence. Chris.
I've been using my Airbnb properties and my Kona Ice business.
Awesome. Annette. Miss Annette.
Yes.
Give me
What was the question again?
Give me one area that you are lead generating with. What's something you do to lead gen?
Okay. Yeah, in my people that are in my funds already. So I try to make to know them and them to know me. That's how I lead generate.
Sphere of influence. All right, Miss Adriana.
Open houses and my phone.
Okay, Jacob.
Talking to friends and family.
So SOI. So I heard SOI 5 different times, 6 different times if you count open houses / calling people on my phone. Was that a surprise to you? Was that a surprise that a majority of you use sphere of influence to lead generate? Let me ask you, are you consistently engaging your sphere of influence to lead generate?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Nope, not enough.
The number one resource that you picked for lead generation needs to be the one you put 80% of your energy into, that 80-20 principle, right? If you're going to do open houses and lead generate, open house, open house, open house. If you're going to talk to people, which is I consider prospecting, then prospect, prospect, prospect. If you're going to do sphere of influence, you better hope your sphere is pretty damn big or you're going to run dry real quick. Sphere of influence is no different than shooting fish in a barrel. It's that easy, right? If you're the only realtor in that sphere, It's pretty easy for you to pick off some deals. The only problem is typically the barrel runs dry because you done shot all the fish. We need to get more fish, or we need to get bigger barrel. Another one was meets, people I've met throughout the day. Considered prospecting. Door knocking, I heard once. Raise your hand if you live in a neighborhood. Raise your hand if your neighbor has a door. Raise your hand if you've knocked on that door.
For reasons outside of real estate.
That's what I was gonna say.
I didn't hear that. What'd you say?
For reasons outside of real estate, I've knocked on their doors.
Yep.
For the rest of you that haven't met your neighbors and haven't talked to your community, what is holding you back?
Confidence.
Confidence. There you go. I'm gonna write, that's a good term, confidence.
The neighborhood I live in.
The neighborhood you live in, what do you mean?
I don't want to knock on doors.
Why not?
I could see that, Charity. Yeah.
My neighbors called the cops on me before, so
You too?
yeah.
What's your text me your address, I'll come knock on your neighbor's door.
I think there's some
Me too.
ambiguity about, like what's okay in the current scenario that we're in as far as social distancing and masks and all that stuff. It's almost like too much. It's too much to try to navigate.
There is a lot. Go ahead, Mikey.
Oh, well, what's really interesting is like growing up, everybody knew their neighbors. We obviously had social media. It was not a problem. And I think what one big thing that gets in our way is we're worried about knocking on the doors and trying to sell real estate rather than worried about knocking on doors and just meeting people and building relationships.
Correct.
But when I was growing up, the way my parents met their neighbors was through the kids. And I don't really have that avenue right now, except for the few that I met through my grandson's soccer team and stuff like that. And then boom, as soon as that happened, lockdown, occurred. The one positive thing out of it that I've gained is that one of the parents was Jason Keller, who has become my inspector basically. So I send all my referrals and stuff to him, but other than that, I don't have any reason to go over there. It's not my kid.
Okay, I get that ambiguity. What else? What is keeping
my neighbors are just walking around the neighborhood more than they used to, since they can't go other places. So I feel like even just standing outside the other day, I re-met a neighbor, but I gave him my card. He's texted me every day since. He's not thinking of buying or selling right now, but keeping that constant contact, he'll remember me. So
made a friend. Okay.
Well, when I say I meet people, I talk to the people I meet throughout the day, I hang out at the coffee shop 2 or 3 times a week or more.
Right.
And so I'm meeting the same people pretty much over and over, and I'm developing relationships with them.
So I'm part of 3 big social groups. I was part of the bar scene. I was part of the country bar scene. My ex loved to go dancing, loved to go drinking. I love to drive around. I was part of racing because I did a lot of racing, and I'm big in the gun community. A lot of my deals come from those 3 communities. Those are my neighborhoods, if you will. So it's not just your neighborhood, like your corporeal next door neighbor, but it's also the community you sit into. Your neighbors are the community you engage with every day. I'm going to bring out, like Chris says, his Airbnb and his Kona Ice business. He services the community with a business front that he's got another business, and he's utilizing part of that to get his name as a realtor out there.
That's sort of what I've been doing. The owner of the coffee shop and I have been coordinating some meetups for evening classes to teach the kids that I teach the kids spinning and weaving and stuff like that. And then some of the ladies that used to meet up at a couple of the yarn shops aren't open for socializing. They're open for retail, but they're not open for socializing. And so I've been arranging with him to hold some meetups there at the coffee shop for that.
So I'm gonna change your answer to community events.
Community events.
Which is fantastic, because Chris was the one that really had it until the two of them. But that's the one thing I want you guys to create community. It's one of the things we're going to talk about in your neighborhood, in your sphere of influence, in your social groups. It's all about creating community. The more people who know, like, and trust you, the more leads and referrals you're going to get. Right? Just like I have done with the PC program. Many of you did not know each other 9 months ago. Many of you now will pick up the phone and call each other. Hey, I got something. Can you help me out with? Do you want to go with me? We're going to go down to Bisbee together. We're going to take videos and have fun. It's the community around it. This is the thing that I've been good at in my career, is creating community. And I want you guys the same thing, is whatever you have as a hobby, whatever you're doing now to engage and drive leads, create community around it. So when I ask you, have you talked to your neighbors? You should know the neighbors physically around your home, because one, it's safer that way. Even in Charity's neighborhood, where her neighbors are all, you know, meh, meh. But Charity also lives in her neighborhood and she's not meh, meh. So maybe other neighbors aren't also. Just because of where somebody lives does not dictate who they are. Maybe they're in the same position. Maybe they're looking to buy a house and get out of that neighborhood. Maybe they're looking to do something different. You'll never know until we take the steps to put ourselves out there and ask, who is this person? Before we can do so, we need to know who we are. What value do we bring? The first class we're going to talk about is building your personal validity. And let me ask you, what value do you bring in real estate?
Go pick up that doggy door. I gotta take the van.
Yeah, take the van. Tess left herself off mute, and I gotta hear the conversation. Well, somebody, do I need to call in the room again? I will. What value do you bring in real estate?
Communication skills.
Communication skills, love it.
Knowledge and professionalism.
Knowledge, professionalism. What was the first part? I just heard professionalism. Okay, something else.
No, the community.
Knowledge of the community. I love it.
A genuine care for people.
Also known as give a damn. Woo. I don't know if you guys have seen social media in a while. There's a whole lot of give a damns that's broken.
Yeah.
When you pick up the phone, and I'm going to pair the four of them together, you take your communication skill, your professionalism, your love of the community, your knowledge of the community, and your give a damn. You put them together, what do you have? A friend.
Friend value.
A friend. I want you guys to realize that you don't have to be somebody's friend to be their friend. You have to care about them. Create community, create relations. Your sphere of influence will become hubs of business when you feed them, when you grow them, when you increase your sphere of influence. On average, we have the ability to influence 5 people-ish. That means if I say, this is the inspector you use, 5 people are going to use that inspector wholeheartedly, because that's my community. That I have that influence over 5 people. Those 5 people have influence over what? 5 people. So within our 5, we now have 25. 30 if you include the other one. Us plus 5 and the other 5, that's 30 total. If we had the ability to grow our effect of other people beyond our natural entrepreneurial impact and move to a purposeful impact, E to P, and grow our sphere of influence and grow our influence over others, an influencer, you know, social media influencer, you guys don't need to do twerking and all that stuff on TikTok to be an influencer. You just have to be a good person. Trust me, I've tried it. It doesn't work. But when you grow your sphere of influence, you now take those 5, maybe now it's 10. Maybe it's 100. if you got 100 people that are constantly engaged with you and constantly talking to you and constantly cheerleading for you, have we not grown our market share? Have we not grown our mind share to 600 people? So no matter what you're doing on this list, you got one lead source of Facebook, Facebook groups. This is another thing. Talking to people, meeting people, doing open houses to meet people, getting them into your sphere of influence so that you can create influence over those people and make friendship and community. Let's add one. If you were going to add one element to your lead generation, what would it be? If you're doing sphere of influence, what are you going to do?
Follow up.
Well, follow up should be on everything, Mr. Jason. There's no point in getting somebody's contact if you're not going to call them back. I love it though. His mind's on follow up.
Door knocking.
Door knocking for tests. But here, we're going to leave this line in there. The fortune was made in the follow up. If you remember anything from this call, remember that line. The fortune was made in the follow up. So whatever you can do, the most lead generation sources. The one thing I didn't hear anything for is agent to agent referrals. So business. I didn't hear anything about cancellations or for sale by owners.
Those are good ones.
Or leverage.
Farming.
I'm trying to farm right now.
You would not consider what I'm trying to do, since I'm working directly with the owner of the coffee shop, a business to business kind of thing?
What you're doing is creating community, your community involvement.
But if I were to create some sort of mutually beneficial referral system out of it, then it becomes business to business?
Yeah, a little bit. But the main point of it is to create community, to have groups of people come in, help him build a coffee shop, help you build your database.
Yeah.
If you were doing like Jason, for instance, your inspector, if you said, Jason, I'm going to send you everybody that asks for inspector, I'm going to send them your way. I just expect you to send me back anybody who's looking to buy or sell a house.
Well, we've had that conversation, so.
You should have that conversation with every vendor in your pipeline. Now, I'm going to pick on Chris a little bit because I know that he's a business owner directly. Chris, if I were to come to you and say, hey, Chris, I'm going to promote your business on everything I do, would you commit to sending me 2 referrals a year? It's pretty easy. I'm giving of everything. I'm going to give him everything. I'm going to promote him for everything. I'm going to give him free promotion with the anticipatory respect of getting something in return. Tit for tat, quid pro quo.
I do that with my husband's business.
What does your husband do?
He's a contractor, general contractor.
Okay.
And I actually run the business end of his business so that he can work. So I do his customer service, his advertising. I even go as far as to do the majority of his estimates for him. So when I'm with his clients, I mention my business, and in return, when I'm with my clients, I mention his business. So we both generate a lot of cross business that way.
I like it. Mutually beneficial.
Yep. And being in construction, his business is actually pertinent to the majority of my buyers and sellers, especially my investors.
Investors.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, the word investor, does it scare you?
No. It means
Should excite
repeat
you.
business. It means repeat business to me. Because I help them find the houses on the low end, send them to my husband to upgrade those houses, and then he sends them back to me to sell them on the higher end. So win, win, win.
Win, 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 win. First thing we do in our Y Force U2Ts is a win, win, or no deal.
Right?
All right, so we're going to add something else. We got open houses. We can start doing those again, door knocking. When I say farming, guys, I really want you to know your communities. And that's where you live now. Or if you're planning on moving, Go know the community of where you're going to move to. Make friends. Know your neighbor. One of the most powerful things you can possibly do is be recognized as a real estate professional. Because no matter who you are in America, you know somebody looking to buy or sell real estate. And all it takes is asking some questions. Even Jacob, he's 19 or 20, I don't know, he's young.
19.
19. So we talked about it in the office here. I was like, go call your friend's parents.
Right?
Seriously. The difference between somebody who's going to make it at 19 and somebody who's not is the willingness to get uncomfortable. The same thing goes to somebody who's going to be successful at 35 and 40 and 45 and 60, 65, 80, doesn't matter, is the willingness to be uncomfortable. I'm going to be uncomfortable in my abilities to stretch my goal. I'm going to be uncomfortable talking to people that is a normal conversation I wouldn't have. I'm going to be uncomfortable reaching for a bigger life, or I'm going to be uncomfortable by decaying. You get to choose. So starting next week, we're really going to dive into a lot of this lead generation stuff. So I want you to go to 1kwsa.com and add that thing to your calendar. You can click on the remote access trainings. You can click on the things to add to my calendar, or just go put a reminder in your own calendar. I'll send you out a text, but I'm not going to do the calendar reminders anymore because we're doing a different system, and I want you guys to follow that and know what classes are there. But we're starting our lead generation class next week, full-heartedly jumping into it. But the questions to ask: what am I doing now? What am I willing to do? And what value do I bring? Communication, professionalism, care, candor, and knowing of the community. You don't need to be a marketing expert to be successful in real estate, but you do need to be a market expert. You need to know what's going on, what's happening, because people are going to ask and they want to go to the information. If you know that somebody is paying $1,300 a month in their apartment, their little 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in La Cantata, wherever, and they're looking to buy it their first house, and they're like, we just don't think we can afford a house. Can you find a house for $1,300 a month?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everyone on the call is
Nice
like, duh, yeah, it's a nice house. It's like $220,000 in the north side. You only need $7,500 down. That's it. I mean, if you got good credit, we can get you down payment assistance, and you don't need any money down. Then who are you telling this stuff to?
People that ask.
What about the ones who don't?
Exactly.
Those are the ones that are not buying and selling with you. So you have to lead generate. By lead generating is asking people questions to uncover needs that you have solutions for. Hi, my name is Barry the Foot Doctor. I hear you have a headache. How can I help? I'm good, Barry. Thank you. My foot hurts. Can you talk to me about that?
Facebook works really well because you can throw things out there on groups. I've got the majority of my buyers I've actually found on Facebook, or they find me.
I wish I've had that success.
I take it out to about, I've got just under 40 groups between Globe and all the way up to Sierra Vista, all the way into Mesa. And yeah, so I try not, they're not all in one spot. So I try and make my reach kind of far and wide. And, you know, everybody has an opinion and everybody comments, but some people are truly interested.
Anyone writing that down?
I am.
There are 1,500 groups in Tucson that are public. Sales, networking, just groups, just for sale Tucson and Tucson yard sale and yard sale communication in Northwest, blah, blah. Like I own a group that's Northwest community, like Northwest sales and networking. I got like 600 people.
I guess the reason why I'm asking is because I'm part of like I don't know, 78 groups of every imaginable thing you could possibly think of. But they all have guidelines that say you cannot promote yourself or your business. This is for knitting socks only.
Right.
Okay.
They'll tell
So
you.
how am I gonna, how am I gonna leverage what I do without violating the guidelines and relating it to socks?
You're gonna violate the guidelines because you've got to accumulate enough groups to where, and eventually you'll know, oh, they keep kicking my listing off. So then you'll remember, okay, we're not going to list to that group, and eventually after you've posted to them 5 or 6 times, it'll sink in that that's not the one I can post to. But you go through, I mean, out of 45, 50 ones that I post, 10 of them get kicked off, but I still have 30 that are stuck. There's those out there. There's Facebook, Craigslist. There's Northwest Facebook, Tucson. There's so many different ones that will allow you to post listings, and then some of them will at least allow you to post, hey, I'm an agent, give me a call, if they're not allowing the personal listings.
Tess, it's always better to ask for forgiveness than permission too, by the way.
That's it, right there.
But
And then
also, it's not just the communities to post to, but if you're in knitting socks only or I love cats week, whatever, if that's something that you're passionate about, again, create community around that. People are going to align with you because you align with them in some aspect. I bet I could start a Facebook group about bald men with red beards, and I can get 100 people in that group, and I may be the only realtor.
Right.
But you know what, damn it? They're going to know I am the only realtor. But they're also going to know that I know Dave and his uncle, and I know Jimmy and his brother, and I know Carol Sue. She's the only woman in the group. It's very strange. But the thing is those community groups are not just about promoting your business. It's about creating community. And then you have those interactions, and they're the same social spheres that you have in normal day, everyday communication, but it's in a digital aspect. If you have something you are completely passionate about, motorcycles, fishing, knitting, like Tess is talking about, knitting and fabrics and creation and stuff like that, those create a lot of emotions that you can tie into and really engage people at a high level. Like I said, my 3 groups before, what were they? Right? Guns, racing, and drinking and cowboy stuff. And those of you know, I don't drink, but I dance.
2-step?
I can dance.
Oh.
But the thing is those communities, even though I'm not a drinker, but I like the cowboy scene. I like to go out, I like to hang out with my friends, but I made community in those, and people knew every time I went out, they knew I was a realtor. They would ask me, how's business, how's sales, what'd you sell lately? And I sold house after house to people in those groups, and same with the racing scene. These are people that barely have money to pay a rent, but have a $100,000 race car. And all it takes is one landlord to evict them for making a mess in the garage before they're like, you know what, F this, I'm gonna buy my own house. And then they go, oh, hey, Dan's a realtor, let me call him. Yeah. It's not because I'm out there every day at the race going, hey guys, you wanna talk about real estate? Hey, I got stuff about real estate. Let's talk about real estate. No, it's because I genuinely care who the person I'm talking to is. I know about their race car. I was there when they crashed. I was there when they rebuilt it. I was there. I was part of their life. That was my influence. These aren't people I go to and have barbecues with every weekend or talk to, or if I break my leg, I'm not going to call them and say I'm in the hospital. They're not my best friends. But I've got a community around them where they know who I am. I know who they are. There's a mutual care and respect there. They like, know, like, and trust me. So this is where I'm talking about. Where you lead generate now is not only your validity as a real estate agent, but you as a person. The more you show you care, and the more that they know you care about them, the more they're going to care about what you know about real estate. And then they're going to start asking you questions. They're going to come out and say, hey, Tess, Johnny and I are thinking about buying a house. Could you help? Or, you know, can I ask a question to you? It's all in how we present. And I want you guys to really start thinking about, what am I doing now that's working? Because we all have something that's working even a little bit. And how do we add some more energy? But if it's not working the way we want to, what do we need to change? Who do I need to bring into my life that's going to change this? If you door knock all the time and you're not getting any success, we need to change up something. We need to talk about it. We need to change the way we do it. If you're relying solely on your sphere of influence, go back to the fish in the barrel transaction. You're going to run out of fishies. It's going to be nice. You're like, yeah, 5 or 6 deals, bam, let's go. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I don't have any fish in my barrel. That's why we have to have multiple forms of lead generation. I don't want you to 5, 10, 15, 3 to 5 max. Marketing is very dollar expensive, time easy. Prospecting, very time expensive, dollar easy. If you don't have the money to throw at it, throw some time at it. The wealthy people in this world buy time by leveraging others to do their job. That's what marketing is. It's getting your name out there and talking to people for you. If not, call the title company. Get a marching list for your neighborhood, all the names and addresses, and start writing letters.
The title company can provide you with that?
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Hey, Letha, hang out on these calls. You're going to learn a couple things you didn't know. And if you got a really cool mom like I do, ask her for help. You got a nephew that's in trouble, he's going to be sealing up some envelopes.
Right.
Leverage is all around you. Use it. There's opportunities to work everywhere. Use it. You out here, Miss Tess? Oh.
Yeah, I've got to go take care of something.
Okay, go handle your business.
Okay, bye, Jason.
Well, we're losing people here. Hopefully I didn't scare you off, because this is one of the things I think we need to really focus on a whole lot more. It's
So Big
all
Dan,
growth. Go ahead.
I asked Title for some lists. So I got one list for my neighborhood so that I can send out Happy Thanksgiving postcards. And it's really not even that expensive. And you showed us how to do the postcards in Command. And so for like $30, I can send out 75 of them.
It's pretty easy. I mean, I spent an hour on Friday with one of the admins from the team across the hall from me. She was having a problem with social media stuff. And I was like, hey, did you know you can pre-schedule posts in social media? And I went through and pre-scheduled the rest of the holidays for the rest of the year. And they're all in designs. It took me about 3 minutes each after showing her this stuff. So, and then that's where I got the idea that I'm looking, you guys know, I'm looking for a house for my mom in my neighborhood. Instead of doing the postcards, which I've done a bunch of times, my postcards through Command, you guys all have seen postcards. I'm actually going to have my mom write a hand letter, a written hand letter. And I'm going to copy it with a picture of her and my nephew that she lives with, and send it to 250 people. But we're going to do it in hand addressed envelopes with a sticker stamp. So it's going to be a little bit more time intensive. But let me ask you this. If you go to your mailbox and you see something, a handwritten envelope, the envelope clearly came from Walmart, or the one that's mass generated, which one are you throwing away and which one are you opening?
I'm opening the handwritten letter.
Handwritten, personal.
Look at the things you get already, and how would you change it to make it better for the next opportunity? What worked with you, what didn't? Look in the mirror. You want to talk about your target audience? We tend, the term birds of a feather flock together. If you have a member's jacket, I'm sure some of your friends have a member's jacket. If you got a motorcycle, I'm sure some of your friends got a motorcycle. Just saying. Know your target audience, look in the mirror. What works on you, what doesn't? How does somebody win with you? Are you doing that with others? And if you really don't know, well, Dan, I don't know how people win with me. Let's talk further, one-on-one. You and I have a conversation. Miss Amber?
That's why I don't like door knocking, because honestly, I do not like it when people come to my door and I don't know who you are.
Again, our target audience is however you play, it's how you play. But if you had something, Amber, if somebody came to you and they had a problem that you could solve, and they came to your door and said, Miss Harvey, I need your help, and you were able to fix it, knowing who you are as a person, would you not do everything you could to help that person?
Sure.
Same thing. Don't you hate me sometimes?
I really do.
It's all about taking our perception and changing it to work out. It's how we approach things. So for those of you who are doing sphere of influence, keep it up. If you're not doing it at a high level, and I do mean every day, you're failing yourself. You're failing your friends. Social media posts. Let me give you some insight. You have to be extremely entertaining 1 time a week or somewhat entertaining 5 times a week. You choose. For those of you who took my challenge this month and posted every day of something they're thankful for, how's the engagement going, Mike?
It's actually not much engagement, but I'm just trying to stay with the process and just keep moving forward. I feel like at the end of it, it will be more engagement.
Do you see the same people commenting and posting and liking on it every day?
Yeah.
Guess what? Those are your cheerleaders. Go make them super cheerleaders. This is what we don't do it to get massive engagement. We don't do it to get, oh, I got 10,000 likes. No, we get it to see the same 15 or 20 people that are liking, commenting, engaging on all of our stuff. And now I know without a doubt, 100%, that's exactly who I need to focus my attention on, because they are my innate born cheerleaders.
So I keep my business page and my personal page separate. While my business is actually on my personal page listed as where I work, my business page, I put all my listings and stuff on, but I know people that are looking at my business page are going to my personal page to see what kind of person I am. So I try and make sure that I have like a level of guidelines. I told my husband, there's just certain things that you can't post because the world sees that. And you've got a reputation. So yeah, you've got a business page, but you got to keep yourself in check on your personal page too. Because some of the things he used to post were, straight jackets to the left, meds to the right, don't eat my crayons.
Right.
And
you're all 100% entitled to your own opinion. I'm gonna get a little political on you. You're 100% entitled to your opinion. 100%. Whatever you believe in it. That's absolutely true. But on social media, you can't take it back.
That's right.
Post what you want to post. Present whoever you want to be out there. That's great. That's fantastic. Be you. Do you, boo boo. But I can tell you, once it's out there, you can't take it back. And how do you want people to see you?
Well, I always tell my husband, two subjects are absolute voodoo. You believe what you want to believe, but keep your religious posts very light. Don't preach on your Facebook. At the same time, you might support President Trump, but Biden people have just as good of money as Trump money. So you keep politics out of it. It's just, those are things that if you support one and not the other, you're literally cutting your opportunities in half.
If you go to my social media, can you tell who I voted for?
Haven't seen your social media.
No.
No. Yeah,
if you know me as a person, do you know who I voted for?
Yeah, you can't tell mine either.
But the thing is my social media is there as a tool for me to gain business and for me to express myself. I love to make people laugh. I like to be goofy and weird. So I put stuff up there that fits that. I'm also very proud of my kid and my dogs, and I like to share those to the world.
Exactly.
I'm not out there to create a fight. I'm not out there to create animosity. I'm not out there to create ill will on anything.
Right.
As long as you follow suit in that, you'll be fine. Whatever you post, as long as it's your demographic, it's your sphere of influence. I don't care who you voted for, what color you are, what religion you practice, or any of the hobbies you partake in. As long as I don't have a moral problem with it, I'll represent you. But there are some people out there I won't do business with. And those people aren't in my sphere of influence. Those people aren't in my life at all. But when it comes down to creating community, my community is a ton of real estate agents. A ton. A lot of yous. Y'all post the same damn things. So you're not unique. You're not cute. I'm going to blow your bubble right now. Sorry. Switch it up. Be unique. Be different. But you have to be engaging a lot. It can't just be, one day, happy Thanksgiving, one day, happy New Year's, one day, because your friends will find it, but Facebook will hide that. All the social media algorithms will 100% hide you because you're not relevant. You're not engaging. You're not exciting. Social media is a drug that they're trying to sell people. They're trying to sell, hey, this person's engaging. This person's exciting. This person cusses and calls people names and causes fights. Watch his videos. People hate him, people love him, but they still watch him. That's what social media is trying to do. Social media has no intention of connecting you socially. It's all about creating engagement around certain things so they can sell ads to it. For you to trick the algorithm is be relevant, communicate, have conversations directly with people, in groups, in communities, on your own posts. The people that are liking and commenting consistently, those are your cheerleaders. That's your community. They will help you grow organically. You're not going to put up a post that's going to get 1 million views and generate any business from it. What you will do is you'll create engagement that you need to follow up with and create a fortune, because the fortune was always made in the follow-up. I have never posted anything on social media or had anyone ever post anything on social media where someone came out of the blue and says, I want you to sell my house. I like that t-shirt, sell my house. You know what? Your dog's cute, sell my house. But what it has done is it created a conversation like, oh, you're in real estate. We've been thinking about selling our house. Or I got the text message yesterday from Facebook. Hey, bud, how much do realtors typically charge? I got to sell my house in a divorce. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That's terrible. I mean, typically it's around 6%. For you, I'd help you out and do less because I know you're going through some hard stuff. Let me know what I can do to help. It's about being there for people. But it's never just the, hey, buy or sell my house. No, it starts a conversation. So you need to do that. So social media is 100% about taking the conversation, growing it into a sphere of influence where you become the economist and realtor of choice. Because I bet you guys have 15 to 100 realtors of friends on Facebook. At least one, because you're all my friend. If you're not, add me, Big Dan Caldwell. Pretty easy. But when you do so, you'll see what they post. You see what they engage with. People want to know you're real. They don't want to just know that you sell houses all the time. But they want to know you still sell houses from time to time.
Right.
So, awesome. Well, next week, we're going to start this lead generation series. I'm excited to go through that with you. Jump in and enjoy as much as you can. Other than that, it is Monday, the 9th of November. It's a fantastic day to be a real estate agent with Keller Williams in Southern Arizona. I hope you go out there and do something great. Find a win, help each other, and have yourself one hell of a Monday. Good night. Farewell.